And one of the strongest acts of defiance for a modern-day governor, Greg Abbott, has declared the border crisis an invasion and invoked Texas's constitutional right to self-defense.
The authors of the Constitution knew there would be times when the federal government would not live up to its duty. Texas has a right, as a state, to stop criminals from coming into our state.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Texas Governor Greg Abbott refusing to back down from the federal government after the Supreme Court 5-4 decision that allows the feds to come and cut razor wire on the southern border. Now, the low court decision that was thrown out by the Supreme Court said the feds cannot come and cut the razor wire that Texas had put up. But the Supreme Court said they can, at least for now. There's a bunch of court action back and forth between Texas and the federales. There's a whole lot going on. Now, personally, I don't know why there's so much court action beyond the federal government wanting to keep the border wide open. They're talking about, oh, the razor wire is inhumane and it's dangerous. Well, what's more dangerous, the razor wire or crossing the Rio Grande River, a dangerous river? What's more dangerous, crossing the border when it's hot, when it's cold, when you got animals and everything else out there with little kids, babies, pregnant women? What's more dangerous? Now, there's a lot going on here. We have 25 states that have pretty much pledged their allegiance with Texas, trying to keep the border closed. There's a warning from the feds talking about, hey, you have until this particular date to take that razor wire down, or there's going to be consequences. There's a lot we got to get into, but first things first, let's check out the news clip. And if you want to see this clip in full without my commentary, link as always will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
The state of Texas continued adding razor wire along the southern border despite a U.S. Supreme Court order earlier this week.
And on Monday, the high court threw out a lower court decision. It means federal agents can resume cutting razor wire, but Governor Abbott says the state will keep adding more wire, saying the state's constitutional right to defend itself outweighs federal law.
Let's pause right here. Now, as far as I know, the Supreme Court decision says the feds can come cut razor wire. The low court decision was that they can't come cut the razor wire. But as far as I know, there's been no decision ruled, any kind of anything that says that Texas cannot put up razor wire. Okay, that's a key thing to really understand here. So Texas will still keep putting up the razor wire, citing their own constitution that says we have the right to defend ourselves. But the feds say, hey, we're going to keep cutting the wire because we have the responsibility to protect the border, and we cannot do our job effectively if there's wire in the way. So there's going to be a showdown, and it's going to get pretty interesting.
Fox 4's Blake Hansen joins us now with the very latest in the dispute between Texas and the federal government. Blake.
Yeah, Heather and Steve, razor wire is just one of multiple issues where the federal government and the state are at odds and in the courts over border security. New video Wednesday shows the Texas Military Department beefing up razor wire installations in Eagle Pass along the border southwest of San Antonio.
Good for them to keep putting the wire up. Don't get intimidated. Look, the feds do whatever they want to do. The Biden administration, they do whatever they want to do. They don't follow the law, the Constitution. Texas is actually following their laws, their Constitution. And this is what I like to see. I'm not a big fan of the federal government of the United States. I am more in favor of states having their own individual rights. Now, I'm not sure how far we're going to be able to take this. Are we going to maintain our unionhood? Are we going to break apart? Because I'm hearing some rumors, and I don't know, but let's keep on going.
The security efforts continuing despite a setback at the U.S. Supreme Court Monday. The court, in a 5-4 ruling, vacated a lower court decision that blocked federal agents from cutting razor wire. The feds argued its agents need access to patrol the border and help migrants in need. But the state says it's essential to security and will discourage risky crossings away from legal entry points.
Texas is doing every measure, putting every measure in place to prevent that, to try to discourage that.
Yeah.
But yet at the federal level, the federal government has not done anything as far as trying to discourage illegal immigration, especially those that want to cross a dangerous river.
And the thing about it is, again, the border is a federal responsibility, but they are not doing their job properly. The migrant crisis is a new thing under the Biden administration. Under Donald Trump, this was not going on. Yes, you had some people crossing illegally. Of course, that's going to happen, but nothing like the way it is now. What's happening now is much, much, much worse than anything that ever happened under Donald Trump. And it's a policy decision to allow it to be this way.
Although the Supreme Court order allows for federal agents to cut the wire, there's still no ruling on the larger lawsuit over the matter. And so Texas is adding more.
Texas is doing what they should do. The people of Texas are going to respond favorably to anything Texas can do to try to stem the tide.
In a lengthy statement Wednesday, Governor Abbott cited constitutional law he says allows for Texas to defend itself, writing that authority is the supreme law of the land and supersedes any federal statutes to the contrary. But it is still unclear if the federal government will try to clear out the razor wire. The White House was asked about it Tuesday.
How quickly does the administration intend to remove all the razor wire that has been set up?
So I don't have the specifics on what the border security is going to do and how they're going to do it. Look, we are certainly glad that the Supreme Court made the decision to vacate the injunction that prevented border security to actually do their jobs, to do laws, and it got in the way.
Now, that's that. Now, I'm recording this video Thursday, January 25th, 2024. As of right now, the feds have not gone to the border and cut any wire, although the Supreme Court said that they are allowed to, at least for now, while the lawsuit between the feds and Texas is still pending. Okay, so we have more here. There's a lot more, and I'm going to link to that video, of course, in the box. As I said, there's a deadline. Remember, today's Thursday the 25th. You'll probably see this on the 26th, which is tomorrow, Friday. All right, let's check it out.
Well, as it stands right now, you might be able to make out behind me, Texas's razor wire is still here inside of Shelby Park. It remains untouched. However, the Biden administration has now warned Texas it has until tomorrow to allow Biden's border agents back into Shelby Park and the ability to remove Texas's razor wire as it sees fit. A federal attorney writes to Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton that the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Biden administration, ending a temporary restraining order that prohibited Biden's border agents from touching Texas razor wire in and around Shelby Park. The Biden administration goes into detail about the access it wants. It wants access to Shelby Park, also the nearby boat launch and the international bridge.
Now, this has been a really big point of contention, that particular park right there. The razor wire is right there. So the deadlines tomorrow from this video, which would be Thursday, January 20, Friday, January 26th, which is probably when you're watching this. So I'm not sure what they're going to do when they get there. Is it going to be some kind of showdown? I don't think so. I don't want to say the evil, or I don't want to say that word, but I mean, what else can I say? I have to address the elephant in the room. Now, there's more. Here's something from Karine Jean-Pierre speaking about what's going on.
Homeland Security Department has asked for access to this park that is now currently in dispute. It doesn't seem like they've gotten it. They now are allowed to cut down razor wire. Yeah. Some Democrats are saying the president needs to federalize the Texas National Guard. So look, is that something that could happen?
Pause right here. Now, that would be really bad. Then you really get into the whole Civil War discussion. You want to federalize the Guard. Understand that the Guard, that's the military. And you want to federalize the Texas Guard to do the bidding of the federal government. See, now we're starting to really just go beyond our boundaries and do different things we shouldn't be doing. And then it's going to be like, okay, what are we trying to accomplish here? There's a lawsuit going on, which would be a civil matter, correct? And if you have the federales intervene in a civil matter, which is what it could be, a civil matter, then you're violating all types of laws and rules and everything else. You're getting into kind of uncharted territory as far as I'm concerned, but let's see what she says.
I mean, look, I'll say this. The Border Patrol agents are now, as you said, allowed to cut through the wire because of what the Supreme Court has laid out. It's unfortunate that we had to go there. It's unfortunate that there is a governor in Texas, Governor Abbott, who has politicized this issue of what's happening on the border. And it's not making people's lives safer. It's actually making it harder for law enforcement at the border.
I mean, politicized. What is it supposed to do when you have tens of thousands of people coming to the border illegally every single day? You guys aren't helping. All you do is just process them in as so-called asylum seekers. Meanwhile, Texas has got to do with the brunt of all this massive humanity coming across. Pregnant women, sick people drowning, people getting deleted, human trafficking victims, drugs, guns, all of that. You're just allowing to come across the country. Not only does it hurt Texas, it hurts the entire country. So who's politicizing it? Is it Governor Greg Abbott, or is it you guys in the federal government suing Greg Abbott, who's just trying to prevent the border from being overrun with everything in the world, especially migrants, drugs, and guns?
To do their job. And so we have been very clear. We want to make sure we get something done at the border. That's why we've been having these conversations with Senate Republicans and Democrats for the past several weeks to come up with a bipartisan agreement to deal with the border. And look, if the governor is not interested in that, Governor Abbott is not interested in that. He wants to politicize an issue, and he's not helping communities. He actually isn't. And he's actually putting Border Patrol agents in harm's way by doing what he's doing. I'm not going to speak to any actions that the president might take, may not take, but we have been very clear on this.
So we're not going to rule out federalizing the National Guard of Texas. That'd be a really bad decision. Hopefully we don't have to do anything like that, because that'd just be crazy. Now, Greg Abbott put out a statement about self-defense, right to self-defense. I won't read the entire thing, but of course I will link to it in the box. And here is an article about why it would be a bad idea to federalize the National Guard. Again, that'll be in the box. But 25 states have issued a joint statement in solidarity with Texas. They say, we stand in solidarity with our fellow governor, Greg Abbott, and the state of Texas, and utilizing every tool and strategy, including razor wire fences, to secure the border. We do it in part because the Biden administration is refusing to enforce immigration laws already on the books and is illegally allowing mass parole across America of migrants who enter our country illegally. Now, here's a list of the states and governors: Wyoming, Iowa, Arkansas, Montana, Florida, Idaho, North Dakota, Nebraska, West Virginia, Alabama, Tennessee, Louisiana, Georgia, Utah, Virginia, South Dakota, Oklahoma, Alaska, Indiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Nevada, New Hampshire, Ohio, and South Carolina. Hopefully we have more states, including all the other 25 who join on and say that enough is enough and we can't have this anymore. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to Governor Greg Abbott. I think he's the best governor in the country. I was on my live stream last night, and shout out to you guys who were there. And I was asking, who's the best governor in the country? And I think that he won. I think things like this definitely put him at the very top. It's common sense. You don't back down from the federal government when you know that they're wrong. You as a state, you have rights. Don't get bullied by these people in Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill, who do not care about your state and the welfare of your citizenry. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's happening here? Do you think that Texas Governor Greg Abbott is right? Do you think the Biden administration is right? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I 1000% stand by Governor Greg Abbott. I do not support the Biden administration at all, especially not in this instance. The border crisis is out of control. It is damaging not only Texas, but the entire country. Enough is enough, and it's time to put a stop to it. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.